Peace, everybody. It's your boy, Minister Jew. I'm back with another video here. I want to take y'all around the park. Somebody's back there chilling, reading. Somebody's cycling over there. And some beautiful scenery out here where I'm at. Take a seat over on the bench. We can kick it, But let's get into some of this subject matter. I want to talk about the subject of positivity and remaining positive. Over the years, people have migrated over to more introspective thinking. They moved away from what's considered to be traditional religion in order to find themselves, to feel fuller, to live a fuller life, to have more meaning about why they're here, etc. And so one of the first places that people tend to run into is the positivity movement, where it's like, remain positive, be positive, etc. And people try that out for a year, or maybe even longer. They're doing all of these affirmations, and then they look around and they say, well, wait a minute. I've been being positive. I've been saying my affirmations. Why haven't I seen any results in my life? What's going on? And so a lot of times people get frustrated, they get agitated because they're living a life where they're not getting any results from some of this new information that they have come across, which tends to send them back to which they came, which is to the traditional church. So people are leaving, some of these more metaphysical ideals, and they're like, man, I'm just going to go back to the church. I'm just going to go back to the mosque. At least I had a place where I can come on a regular basis and see people who look like me, think like me, and have a family-orientated vibe, right? So this is what tends to happen when that's going on, or when they have a lack of results from the positive thinking. And so, a lot of times what happens is people go to the opposite end and they say, well, you need to embrace your dark side, right? And this is a philosophy that comes about usually from a person who hasn't had the experience of seeing the benefits of positive thinking because they were funneled into a system with a teacher or somebody who's preaching something, and they really didn't have the mechanics down of how the mind operates. And so people get frustrated and they start to say stuff like, embrace your dark side, and that's really a cry for help is what it is. But a lot of times these cries for help are disguised in what people would seem to be deep, metaphysical, verbiage and rhetoric. But it's really a cry for help because they haven't gotten the results that they would like to see in their life from positive thinking. And so I just want to give you guys a quick lesson today to show you the impact of how negative thinking, all the way down to negative words, actually have an effect on your ability to manifest. So here's some tips. The heart is the organ that has the largest magnetic field in the body. Okay. And so when you start to get into some of these case studies, which I love reading because they bring clarity to the ideals and the principles behind the philosophy, we have something that we can look at tangibly to say, listen, this is what happened. We can actually see this. And then when we appropriate internal subjective practices, we have enough information to feel confident about doing a right brain technique because we got enough left brain information to support what it is that we're doing. That's very important for a person who's just getting on a bike for the first time and they still got training wheels on. They have to feed the left brain enough information so that it feels confident of doing something that doesn't seem sensible, like visualization and imagining things, right? So in one study done by the International Journal of Psychophysiology, they talked about how semantics in words, negative words, actually had an impact on a person's heart, either accelerating or decelerating based upon negative words, negative language, right? The impact was even worse when they looked at negative imagery, okay? So what happens is when we start to see negative things, right? Or when we start to deal with darker concepts of the mind, right? These things actually slow down our heart rates, right? But when we start to think about positive things, right? See positive images that affirm what it is that we say that we want, then our heart rate increases, right? We start to feel better about ourselves, right? So what happens is this: we don't have enough information, or people don't have enough information on how to activate the power of positive thinking, right? So people come into these groups and they got so much baggage and trauma and things that are already set within inside of their subconscious mind. They've seen so much negativity from their parents, right? Things that have happened in their neighborhoods. They've heard so many bad stories, horror stories. All of these things have affected them on a physiological level. And so what a good teacher would do is show an individual how to clean up some of those traumas so that the power of positive thinking can take root. So it's not that the power of positive thinking doesn't work. It's the fact that there's so much gunk and junk down in people's minds that it can't take root, because it's a lot of irregular twigs, it's a lot of weeds down there in the mind that needs to be dug up so that that fertile ground can have some space to plant some new seeds. This is why your affirmations are not working, because people think they can come over there and put sugar on top of waste, and it doesn't work that way, okay? So stay positive, right? Keep a outlook on life that suggests that you're a winner, all right? Sign up for these memberships. We teach people on how to clean up the dramas and the traumas. Very, very important. Cleaning up the traumas and the dramas. You'll notice that over time, as you work on some of the things that cause you pain and stress and anxiety and depression, when you learn how to appropriate a new image of yourself, then all of a sudden you start to have these smaller breakthroughs, which leads to larger breakthroughs and even larger breakthroughs. And then the power of positive thinking will overwhelm your being, and then you'll be living in a place of happiness, security, and all these other words that denote that you're all right. So with that, visit the website, theimaginationguru.com. Click on the memberships tab. And once you do that, you'll have access to some of the best information on mind science, quantum consciousness, and all things alike. With that, I'm signing out. Peace.